Okay, here we are on to Chapter 8 of Timmy and Rusty, and I've changed out the microphone again. This is what we call a pencil condenser microphone. I own a pair of these. They're a matched pair in that the frequency response for both of these microphones has been matched out of all that they've made. So these microphones are unidirectional. They pick up a lot from the front, very little from the sides, very little from the back. They also come in a upgraded version, an SE8. These are SE7s. And they also make an SE8 omnidirectional pair of mics that pick up sound all the way around the microphone. I particularly like those when doing small to large ensemble work, and you'll generally put those in a coincident XY pair at 90 degrees and put them on one mic stand, and you can even space them out the same way like this and do the same thing depending on how wide the ensemble is. So and then if you're going to be doing some voice work, and this is the microphone that you have, they come with a little windscreen that you can use as well. So okay, moving right along. So the boys had a great time at Phillips Park on Saturday, just riding around on their bikes, playing in the sprinklers when they got hot, and they even both spent $1 to take a pony ride, just for the fun of it. The pony rides were a hit on that Saturday, and there was a line of kids waiting for a ride, but they only had to wait about 15 minutes for their turn to come up. Then they decided to take a ride over the one-lane road that went to a small island at Mastodon Park. It was a small island off to the west of the Phillips Park entrance. In that small lake that circled the island, they had discovered many dinosaur bones in the bottom of the lake, as some scuba divers had, by chance, just found them on one of their dives. Those dives were over 30 years ago and brought out many amateur divers, and they all pulled out quite a few bones from the bottom of the lake. All of the bones were now on display at the small Hastings Mills Historical Society on Oak Street. There were many artifacts that had been collected over the years, including many World War I and World War II uniforms. An old tank and an old Jeep sat out in front of the building. The building had been the first school in the town and was the Mary A. Smith School. It was more like a very big two-story house, and all of the grades were being taught in that one building. The older grades were all on the second floor. Some of the rooms had the desks removed in the first floor for display items that were brought in. The upstairs, all of the fixed position desks had swivel seats in place. All of the wood desks had sloping lids on the desks that opened so the students could put all of their books and papers not being used for the current lesson being taught inside. There was also a small hole in the top right corner for a jar of paste and an indented place about a foot long for holding pencils. The desks and the seats were screwed into the floor, and there was no adjustment for student size. Once the boys were done at Mastodon Lake, they rode home very slowly, as they were tired from a very busy week. And what a week it had been. They were now police deputies, had their own walkie-talkie, and had solved their very first case at the Applegate House. Timmy and Ben said their goodbyes and headed off to their homes. Timmy and Rusty were walking up the driveway, and he put his bike in the garage and closed the garage side door and went into the house. His mom and dad were in the TV room quietly watching some movie. "Did you and Ben have a nice day at the park?" asked Dad, looking Timmy's way as he came through the kitchen. "Yes, Dad, we did," said Timmy, "but we both got tired and decided to come home and get some rest," he added. "I gave Rusty a can of dog food, and I'm heading upstairs to get ready for bed," he stated. "I'm sure Rusty will be up when he's finished, as he has to be tired with all the walking and running he did this week," Timmy stated. "Okay," said Mom. "Sleep tight, honey," she added. "Good night, son," said Timmy's dad as Timmy climbed the stairs. Timmy went into the bathroom and brushed his teeth, went to his room, and quickly put on his PJs and hopped in bed, looking at a comic book. Within a couple of minutes, Rusty came upstairs and jumped onto the bed and took his spot at the end of the bed. Timmy put the comic on his lamp table, turned out the light, and fell asleep very quickly. The moonlight had just been coming in the window and was casting just enough light into the room to see around. Rusty was asleep very quickly as well.